Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So yesterday I did not upload my meta predictions video because I genuinely sat down to do it, but as soon as I started recording the video I realized I have very little general idea how this meta is going to be, because it's tactic meta, but it kind of gets immediately invalidated. And now that I have played Season 20 Victory Track, I have gotten myself to Vibranium 5 now, so there's a fair chunk of games that I have done already. Now I do have a better feel for the meta, and I do feel a bit more confident and comfortable making this video. So let's break down the nodes yet again. We have Clarity, which is Alliance War Tactic, where if the attacker has the Clarity tag, each hit on the combo meter and each buff gained other than from the Dexterity Mastery grants a Clarity charge. Reaching 10 charges, you gain a Clarity passive, which effectively works as true accuracy. So max stacks 5, each side passive reduces the opponent's critical resistance by 30% and prevents activation of auto block and evade. It's effectively true accuracy. Then we have House of Mirrors, which obviously gives opponents chance to evade an auto block on rotation. And so far, so good. So we should be looking at the tactic champions, and that's basically where we're going for the meta. However, because of Enhanced Soldier, which gives champions flat out, full on, True Strike, that kind of doesn't matter anymore. Neither the defensive nor the offensive tactic particularly matters. Then we have only one node here, Dazed and Confused. Means well-timed blocks from Alliance start 5-second timer. If the attacker well-timed blocks again within a window, they will be inflicted with 100% debuff for 5 seconds. 100% falter debuff. That's it. So realistically, only thing you cannot do, parry a lot. Because True Strike doesn't help that. As long as you landed an intercept, fine. And that kind of is the meta now. Much of this doesn't really matter. I mean, it's nice to have. If you have House of Mirrors tag, if you need to throw a defender, it doesn't make it worse. But then again, giving opponents True Strike kind of bypasses a lot of abilities for these defenders to begin with, like dealing with evade and auto block flat out. The only real kind of improvement, I think, is to some of the champions here offensively. For instance, CGR now is a lot more effective, taking down a random bullseye or something of the sorts, because you don't need to worry about the evade, because you get the intercept, you have True Strike, you can just go for your, max damage rotation, nuke down bullseye in 30 seconds. Similarly, giving Black Cat a True Strike from the beginning of the fight, or Mole Man is becoming more effective. So, what have we seen from the meta so far? Fan is one of the more annoying champions to face because of his glancing and messing with special attacks and everything like that. Fan is more annoying defender than normal now. Fowler is a solid addition to the Rex because obviously he's perfectly capable offensively. He is ignoring Falter, so you can parry as much as you want with him because he's the only Falter immune champion in the game. And he's also better defensively now should opponents struggle a bit. Spider-Ham is slightly better defender and still incredible attacker. Scorpion can be more dangerous because if you do trigger the evade from the House of Mirrors node, then you're also going to be putting stings on the opponent. Offensively, I must say that Mole Man so far has pretty much been one of my MVPs. Granted, I do have a rank 3 Mole Man, but in general, he has done a terrific job on defense, because there's a lot of science, a lot of tech champions in this meta, and a lot of champions rely on debuffs for the most part, and Mole Man kind of deals with it. And also Unstoppable is like the one mechanic that, hadn't been touched before here. Because we have, Clarity charges and True Strikes, ignoring auto blocks and evades. And then the only things you have to deal with is basically Miss and Unstoppable that doesn't get countered. So champions that do have access to Miss and Unstoppable generally will be a bit more pesky because every other champion can counter their way in auto block. So Mole Man's doing great. Not to mention that Mole Man gets slightly quicker ramp with him parrying and heavying. You get the Falter on you and you purify it offensively. And you kind of get to play with Mole Man hold. Black Cat has been doing very, very well for me. Dealing with like Killmongers and Nick Furies and a whole bunch of other champions, because She's a tactic offensive champion. She crits more often because she's ignoring more critical resistance as a result of clarity. And that just means more bleeds and more damage. So Black Hat has been great. CGR is pretty much a permaban. CGR is just destroying and nuking just about everything because, giving CGR a true strike is not a great idea or recipe for success. And obviously there's Venom. Other than that, it's mainly your BG mainstay champions because, again, vast majority of the node just gets invalidated. So, your typical standard, Kingpins and Atumas and Korgs and whatnots, they're still going to do well. The champions you do kind of want to somewhat avoid slightly are the champions that do require you to parry a lot. So it is harder, for instance, to use Mr. Sinister in offense, but you can still absolutely do it. It's slightly harder to use Archangel in offense, but you can if you really want to. Bishop is like one of the rank 3s I'm not currently adding to my deck because, again, you do kind of rely on parrying a lot with Bishop and, you don't really want to be doing that. And as far as victory track meta goes, that is just about where we land. Obviously, there are quite a few tech champions. Quite a few cosmic champions that do perform better. And one champion that I wanted to give out a special shout out so far has been Nova, because Nova is a tactic attacker, so he does have access to clarity, and obviously he will get access to True Strike as well. But kind of ironically, the fact that champions will be using True Strike in order to deal with Nova and auto blocks that he poses also helps him, because Nova has the ability where when if struck with True Strike or an unblockable attack or a guaranteed critical hit, generate 50 charges, but also you take less damage. Where's the damage part here? When Nova is struck with a True Strike, unblockable or guaranteed critical hits, opponents have minus 70% attack rating. That is quite huge. And against Nova, people will often try to intercept that True Strike will be present there, whether they like it or not. Not to mention that we'll have the unblockable or guaranteed crit part. And there aren't too many Mystic champions present in this meta, so some Cosmic champions can kind of shine. The thing with Mystic champions is obviously because they're not the tactic champions offensively or defensively, but also the fact that Science class is tactic as a defensive class. And that means people often draft them. And there's lots of Science champions around, and there's hardly ever good time to draft Mystic champions. And they're just not as present. Therefore, some of the Cosmic defenders could be doing better. As I already mentioned, Nova, I think does a terrific job. I think Cersei could be more dangerous than before. And Adam Warlock is obviously an offensive powerhouse and a tactic attacker. So, that is just about it that I see from this meta. Kind of very interesting way they approach this, honestly, because if they wanted us to have a tactic victory track, they at the same time completely invalidated the tactic, which is slightly confusing. But that is only obviously as far as victory track goes. I will be making a separate video about Gladiator Circuit meta as soon as I reach the Gladiator Circuit myself and get the chance to test it, because I do think there will be fair amount, significantly more interesting interactions. Wiccan and Dragonman could be quite interesting champions to use, as well as obviously some skill shrug of champions, so on and so forth. And some science champions that debuff the opponent because that will last 150% longer. So champions like Photon will immediately be more deadly defenders as well. And definitely look forward to experiencing and describing this meta. But yeah, as far as victory track meta goes, effectively, as long as you land in an intercept, there's hardly any nodes, and as long as you don't parry too often. So, not an awful choice so far. I have been fairly enjoying the meta, but again, it just seems a bit odd. Either way, that'll be just about it for now. Let me know your personal MVPs for the meta thus far, and I shall catch you guys very, very soon. Bye-bye. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have